guys, it's Caroline, and today I'm going to be doing the end of the year book tag really heckin' late because I wanted to do it and it seemed fun, and why not? They still all apply. So, first up, any books this year that I need to finish still? Nope, that one's pretty easy. I'm not the kind of person that kind of reads part books and leaves them floating around. I'm a mood reader in the sense that the next thing I pick up really depends on like situations and mood, but I don't really read half a book and then put it down. I pretty much finish them all the way. So I'm all set there. Next up is, do I have an autumnal book to transition me? Now, folks, it's really not autumn, but I can still wear a long sleeve shirt outside without a jacket. So, I mean, it doesn't get much colder than that in South Carolina, but I still have high hopes that I'm gonna read The Secret History sometime this year. And by sometime this year, I mean literally some of the 3 weeks we have left. It's a chunky boy, but I wanna read it so badly, and I just think that right now where I'm really missing school and missing that kind of vibe and feel, and everyone's taking final exams and I'm just like living an adult life, I really want something that's got a dark academia vibe, and I think that despite the fact that it's not really autumn anymore, this has autumn vibes, but I want to read it in winter. What's a new release I'm still waiting for? I am waiting for the 4th book in the Ember of the Ashes series. Now, I haven't actually read any of these because I owned the first 3, but I didn't really own them until recently, and I knew the 4th one was coming out, and I love to marathon series, so I was like, why am I going to start this and then wait like 3 months for this final book to come out? Let me just marathon it when it all comes out. So when the 4th book comes out and I can get it in my hands, it might be out already, but I'm waiting for Christmas because it's sassy to buy myself books this close to Christmas. But yeah, I'm hoping to just absolutely marathon this. I've heard nothing but good things. I love the idea that it's a fantasy that isn't like completely Eurocentric or like medieval European centric. I've just heard great things about the romance, about the plot. I think this is pretty cutthroat. I think this author isn't afraid to like kill some darlings. Might be wrong, but I do like to get my heart broken in my fantasy. So break my heart. Next question is 3 books that I really hope I get to by the end of the year. Now, this is easy in the sense that there are 4 million books that I hope to get to by the end of the year. It's hard in picking just 3 that I want to really commit myself to. But I did say on my birthday, which is in September, that the 3 books that I got for my birthday, I wanted to finish all of them before the end of the year, because what's the point of getting it for your birthday if you're not going to read it? So I've read one of them, which was Piranesi, but the other 2 are Elantris by Brandon Sanderson, which is in the most beautiful edition. I cannot imagine owning Brandon Sanderson in the US editions. Like, the white with the colors, so beautiful. The covers that they give the US are garbage. They look so bad. Anyway, I want to read Elantris. I actually don't know a ton about it. I just know that I've been on a Brandon Sanderson like discovery kick ever since I read Mistborn, and then I just finished Skyward. I'm pretty sure this might have something to do with like a land where everything's dying or rotting and people get sick and die. I don't really know. I kind of don't want to know. I just want to read it and get punched in the face by Brandon Sanderson's plot. And that's that. Next up, I got Anxious People by Fredrik Backman, and I want to read this so bad. It seems so funny and sweet and weird and like, I don't know. I've never read a book by this man that I didn't love, that didn't touch my heart, but also it's about anxiety, and your girl can relate. So yeah, I want to read this one. It looks so cute, and also this cover is also very, very cute. It makes me want to read it even more. Whoever is doing these covers, good job. And then the final book I want to get to is Oracle Year. Again, I used to know what this book was about, and that's the reason I bought it, and it was one of the books that I said, you know, here are 10 books I want to read in 2020, and this was one of them, and I've not yet read it. And I was so hyped at the beginning or the end of 2019 thinking, this is so good, this is so exciting, you need to read it, you're so excited to read it. And since then, I've just completely blanked on what it's about. It definitely has to do with an oracle. I kind of don't want to know because this also seems really weird, and sometimes when books are really weird, the synopses make the mistake of telling you too much, and then you're like a third of the way through the book and you're like, I know all this stuff, and it takes away some of the pleasant surprises that come with the weirdness of a weird book. So jumping into this one really with a very little knowledge, except for the fact that a year ago me was adamant that I needed to read this ASAP. Next up, we have a book that could surprise me and be a favorite of the year. Now, this might be cheating because I don't know that this book is going to really surprise me if it becomes a favorite of the year, and that is The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. Now, I love the Poppy War. I love the Dragon Republic. This is not news. We know these things. I've talked about them for a real hot minute. And I want to reread the series, the first two, and read this one before the end of the year. And I know this one is going to hurt me. I've read a lot of stuff about people saying it did not end the way they expected it to end, but knowing this author, that doesn't make me think it's because they all run off into the sunset. It makes me think they all die at the end. And I want to know, but also I think this is just, I'm going to sob. I'm going to cry. And also if it's unexpected, I really like that. Not only do I like my fantasies to end in a way that makes sense, but if the author can surprise me or like teach me something or get me at the end, like that's really, it's not necessary, but it really makes me love a book even more. And I'm hoping that that's the case for this one. I feel pretty good that this is going to hurt me a lot, but in a fun way that I'm asking for. And then finally, my last question is, are you already making reading plans for 2021? Of course. I am a crazy person. I am super organized. There's a couple of things. One, I just recently decided I'm not going to go for 200 books. I have 20 books left, and there's only like 20 something days left in the month, in the year, and it's just not going to happen. And instead of prioritizing all these tiny books and just picking up all the smallest books on my shelf, I want to pick the books that I need to read before the end of the year, aka stuff like the Poppy War and the Burning God and the Secret History. Those aren't read in a day books. And so I just said, you know what, give it up. But I want to go into 2021 with the goal of reading 200 books. Now I went into 2020 with the goal of reading over 140 because in 2019 I read 140, and I crushed that. I'm at 180 now, but it wasn't until the second half of the year that I really started to put 200 in my sights. And by then it was a little bit too late because I was making up for some months early on that I'd only read like 12 books, which is perfect if you want to read 140 books, but not perfect if you want to read 200. Another thing I'm thinking about doing is I want to do a reading journal. Now, right now I do have a page count journal. Now, I told you I'm crazy. And I color code it based on the different books and how many pages per day I read. And I've really enjoyed doing that, and I found it really fun, and I do love stats, but I also think I want to have like a complete reading like bullet journal where I mark down all my 5-star reads. I color code by genre. I saw someone doing this. I color code by genre, what star rating I gave each book that I read in that genre, just stuff like that. And every year I make a list of books that I want to read in that year. It's 10 books or series, and I learned early on that I used to put series that were really, really big. And then I learned, no, cap it at trilogies. But this year I have read 5 of the 10 selected books or series, although in my defense, I've read 3 of the 3 trilogies that I set out to read. So I'm thinking about what books are going to go on my 2021 list, like what 10 books I think are really important that I want to get around to. Yeah, reading plans, read a bunch, and read more books by authors of color, read more diversely, and bullet journal, and keep page journaling and picking my 10 books. So that's me. Those are all my goals for the end of the year. Those are some of the glimpses for what 2020 is bringing. And yeah, here's my super late end of the year book tag. Bye.